Hey everyone! Okay. Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. I'm studyfluff. I'm so glad you decided to click on this video. So today we're going to be talking about online school tips and tricks and just how to have a successful online school year and all that fun stuff. So without further ado, before I bore you guys, let us just get right into the tips. Okay, so the first tip I have for you guys is to use a planner. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is so important. This is what's going to help you be organized and keep track of all the things that you need to do. I used to be that one kid who thought that they could memorize everything, have all the things that they needed to do in their head. I did that all the freshman year and that was a huge mistake on my part. Don't do what I did. I hate the fact that people always emphasize have a physical planner, have a bullet journal, whatever. The truth is you don't need a physical planner, you don't need a bullet journal. Though I do use a physical planner, I know that doesn't work for everyone. There are so many different ways that you can keep track of the things you need to do. For example, you can use Google Calendar. That works really well for some people. You can use Notion. You can also just write down your things on your phone, with the Notes app. That also works just as well. But do whatever works for you. You don't have to have a fancy bullet journal to do that. No, just get the stuff written down, because trust me, it is going to be a lifesaver. I cannot emphasize this enough. Please, 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 please do it. The next tip I have is to structure out your day, have a schedule, have a routine. I think this is really important because I think for the most part, the reason why online school doesn't work for a lot of people is because they just don't know what to do with their time. With online school, your time is a lot more loose, it's a lot more flexible, and people have a hard time figuring out what they do with all that time. And in the end, they just end up procrastinating and watching Netflix. At least for me, what I like to do is I like to wake up in the morning, and the first thing that I do is I go to my planner, I go to my calendar, and I time block my day. I set very specific timings of what I'm gonna do at a particular time. For example, doing your science homework from 4 to 5 p.m. Hour by hour, I will have a super detailed plan of what I'm gonna do. I think this just really helps me because it kind of mimics the feeling of just kind of how classes work. When you have a class, you have to go. Even if you don't want to, you have to go. So if you kind of think about doing your homework that way, okay, I have to do my homework at a particular time, you're actually gonna do it. You're gonna actually start doing it. Have a routine, have a schedule, and follow it. Okay, so my third tip is to get help when you need it. One of the main reasons people procrastinate their work or their homework is because that work just seems too daunting, it just seems too difficult. But once you start it, it actually seems a lot more manageable. If you find a particular task or an assignment to be really difficult, then ask your teacher for help. Reach out to your teacher and be like, hey, this isn't making sense, and get the help you need, because one, it's actually going to help you understand the material, and two, it's going to help you not procrastinate. My fourth tip is to actively engage in class. I think this is really difficult, especially during online school, especially when you attend a Zoom class where everyone but the teacher has their camera off. And for me, that's just super unmotivating, because it's you don't want to be the only one turning on your camera, because that's really awkward, and I get it. So if you try to actively engage in class, even if it is with your camera off, don't be on your phone, don't have Netflix playing in the background, actually actively engage. And actively engaging doesn't just mean taking notes while the teacher is talking. It can also just be actually genuinely paying attention, genuinely listening to what the teacher has to offer, and asking questions along the way if you have any. For me, I have a need to do something with my hands while I'm listening to get me going and get me engaged. So even if it's not taking notes, you can also just doodle. I think doodling is cool, it's fun. So do whatever you need to do to actively engage, actively listen, because trust me, if you actually efficiently use that classroom, if you actually efficiently listen to what the teacher is saying, then the homework you get is going to be a lot easier, and you're just going to be on the top of your game, which is ideal, which is exactly what you want to do. is this just me, but I feel like I need to say something about this, but I hate turning on my camera during Zoom classes because I feel like I have this like pressure to look at the teacher, to look at the screen the entire time. I don't know why, I just feel like I need to, but it makes my eyes hurt so much because like I don't know exactly where to look, and I feel like when I'm just like looking at the screen and I'm like not blinking at all, and it just makes my eyes hurt so much. But then when I look down like on my desk, like when I look down like that, like if I'm like taking notes or something, I'm scared that people are gonna think that like I'm on my phone. Like am I making any senses? Do you guys relate to that? My 5th tip is to have a good, solid organization system. Again, this differs for every single person, so I can't just recommend one personally, but I will say what I personally do to organize my things. So I like to use binders to organize any like physical handout, physical in-class notes or anything, and binders just work really well for me. If you need any like binder organization tips, then I actually made a video on that, so definitely go check that out in the cards. Some people, love like typing their notes, making everything electronic, and if that works for you, maybe take advantage of Google Drive and like make all these like little folders to organize. Use Notion, I've heard really good things about that. So find an organization method that actually works for you. Don't use an organization system just because someone recommended it. Find what works for you, experiment, do whatever you need to find an organization system that works for you. My next tip is to find your peak productivity. And what I mean by this is I think everyone, I'm gonna say everyone, has a time when they're just naturally more productive than other times. For me, I work really, really well in the morning, which I would have never expected until I actually tried it. If I wake up really early in the morning, like if I wake up at like 7 a.m. for example, I will work really productively and efficiently from 7 a.m. to noon. If I work at 10 a.m., 10 to noon. So the earlier I wake up, the more time I have to be productive. Maybe you are a night owl, but maybe try waking up early one morning and see if that works for you, because it worked for me and I never would have expected that. If you work really well from 2 to 6 p.m., take advantage of whatever time you are the most productive, because that's just like natural motivation, that's just natural productivity. My next tip is to multitask to get you motivated and productive. Say you are, watching a really good TV show on Netflix, like for example, Grey's Anatomy. Okay, I feel like this needs to be addressed, but this is like my 6th time mentioning Grey's Anatomy in a video. Like, are you guys not tired? Are you guys not annoyed by that? Because I'm annoyed. And actually, fun fact, I finished Grey's Anatomy like a week ago after watching it for 11 months. Thank you. So if I'm watching Grey's Anatomy, I'm in the middle of the episode, obviously I'm not gonna think, oh, maybe I should just stop what I'm doing completely cold turkey, I should do my work. No, that's not how my brain works. Instead, what I'll do is I'll transition from just watching Grey's Anatomy to watching Grey's Anatomy and also starting my work. And then from there, you can slowly transition from watching Grey's Anatomy and doing your work to just doing your work. Okay, I feel like I need to justify this one a lot more because people tend to discourage you having TV in the background while you're doing work. I like to watch TV in the background just for the purposes of me starting my work, like not the entire time, but just for me to start my work so I have like the motivation to do it. Because if I'm in the middle of the episode, like no one's gonna like stop and like do their work. Like you're gonna want to finish the show, you're gonna want to finish the episode. So it's like while you're in the middle of the episode, while you're trying to finish it up, like why not just also start your work, right? Because I think the problem with doing your work is just starting it. Like once you start your work, everything becomes a lot easier. So it's like if you can have fun while starting your work, like that's just gonna make it easier. Am I making any sense? Hopefully I am. My next tip for you guys is to take breaks in between your classes. I don't know about you, but the idea of sitting in my desk for 8 hours, staring at a screen for 8 hours, does not seem ideal, does not seem appealing at all whatsoever, and it's also definitely not healthy for your body, your brain, anything. It's not healthy at all. So if you can, just take little breaks in between your classes, get up, get your body moving, do a couple of exercises, do like jumping jacks, push-ups, whatever, just to get your body moving, get it engaged, get it energized. That way it's not like you're sitting at your desk for like 8 hours a day, because again, that's just like not healthy at all. My next tip is to have a consistent sleep schedule. Wow, I am pointing fingers at a lot of people right now, okay? If you're a person that like goes to bed at 2 a.m. and then wakes up at like 10 a.m., sure, I guess like that's not the most ideal, but if you're doing that, at least be consistent about it. At least like follow that sleep schedule every single day. Don't be the person that like does an all-nighter one night and then like sleeps for 2 hours the next night and then sleeps for like 18 hours the next day. Like, don't do that. Like, be consistent about it. You don't have to have like an ideal sleep schedule. Whenever you sleep and whenever you wake up, just be consistent about it. My last tip for you guys is to find a way to be productive. It's just something that you do have to figure out for yourself, unfortunately. Like I mentioned before, online school definitely doesn't work for everyone. Obviously, it's not the most ideal situation. It doesn't work for everyone. We kind of have to get over it and like just live with it and try to find how to make it work for us. So if you're one of those where in-person school really worked for you, try to figure out like what about in-person school actually worked for you. What actually about in-person school got you motivated, got you to do your work. So for some people, maybe working with their friends or being around with people help them be productive, help them be motivated to do their work. So maybe for online school, maybe FaceTime your friends, do your work with them. Do whatever you need to be productive. Obviously, it's not going to be like identical, but like doing something is just better than nothing. Putting in 50% effort is better than putting nothing. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you found these tips useful, and if you did, maybe like this video and subscribe. If not, I completely get it. That's totally fine. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later.